Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting. Be bold, be brave, be extraordinary, be vulnerable, be real, be curious, be true, be you. Welcome to Trusting Your Gut with world-class energy intuitive Catherine McIntosh, a show designed to awaken you to enjoy the process of evolving, have fun along the way, and learn to listen to those silent in-between moments. You are the expert of your own life, and nobody knows more about the next steps to take in your journey than you. So please, listen to your gut and discover what's waiting for you to explore. Here is your host, Catherine McIntosh.
All right, my magical friends, welcome to today's show. I'm so lucky and grateful to be here. And it's Scorpio season. So what does that mean, right? It means that it's a time of transformation. It's a time of going inside. It's a time of getting really clear on your truth. It's a time to really explore what no longer serves you and letting it go instead of resisting and fighting it, and what does serve you and making room, making space for it, right? So I personally just moved, and I thought that I was doing a really good job clearing out a ton of clutter, throwing away a bunch of stuff. I gave away a ton of clothes and other things. And when I moved, I was like, wow, I still have a lot of clutter. Time to clear. And I've been hanging on to old stuff from my business. I've been hanging on to paperwork and notebooks and journals. And, I was like, you know what? Time to let it go. I threw away old photo albums. I kind of looked at like, why am I hanging on to this? And so today's topic in today's episode is all about getting clear on your truth. And, I feel fortunate enough to work with some of the coolest people all over the world that are creating really phenomenal things in their worlds. And like always, we all need that clarity, right? That reminder, that alignment of, are we living our truth? Are we paying attention to what our truth is? Are we making choices that align? And a lot of times, the things that are true for you will not make sense to anyone else. So they might doubt you. They might talk you out of your ideas or choices. They might, judge that you're making the wrong choice. And I find that in my own life, this tends to be true, is that the choices that I make that feel the most aligned, they feel scary. They feel ridiculous. I feel like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm making this choice. But yet when I tune into my own energy, when I get clear on my truth, it's like the biggest yes. It's a heart opening and expands my energy. It's exciting when I think about it, right? The thing that's not exciting or that can bring up fear or worry or doubt is the feelings afterwards. So, oh my gosh, if I make this choice, what if this happens, right? What if this falls apart? What if this person judges me? What if I fail? And so it's not the choice itself that brings up the fear. It's the feeling of, after I make this choice, the choice feels expansive, but then it's the worry afterwards of what if, whatever that is. And so today we're going to talk about getting clear on your truth. And the truth is that whatever is true for you will always feel like a giant yes in your universe. It will feel ridiculous. It will feel not so logical. It'll feel like it won't make any sense to anyone else. That's how you know that it's true for you. And if you follow that path, if you follow the feelings, not the feelings afterwards, not the fear that comes up, oh my gosh, if I make this choice, what if, right? That's not the choice itself. That's the worry of a future that hasn't yet happened. And most people spend at least 50%, if not 60, 70, 75, 80% of their mental sort of mind, they spend it worrying about a future that never happens, right? So I've been a business owner, I've had staff over the last 12 years, and there used to be probably the first 8 years, and it still doesn't change sometimes, where I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for the staff? How is the business going to afford the overhead that I have with all of the business expenses, especially with paying people's salaries, right? Or paying their contracting work. And yet, over the last 12 years, I've never missed, right? I may have had to backtrack on payroll a couple of times, made up for it in the interim, but I've never missed, right? And so there is this idea that it's comforting to worry about a future that's never happened or hasn't yet happened. But yet that takes up your precious energy. It wastes your resources where your energy could be best used for what you want to energize. So getting clear on your truth doesn't mean spending all your time clearing out what you don't want. It means spending the majority of time focusing on what you want to energize. And so anxiety, right, is just awareness, your awareness that you're suppressing, right? Anxiety is worrying about what other people think about you. Anxiety is worrying about, oh, am I going to fail if I make this choice? That's where anxiety comes from, right? But this is just my personal opinion about anxiety, is that those people on the planet that suffer from anxiety are don't don't necessarily have the tools to realize that if it doesn't feel expansive, it's not actually yours, right? So anxiety is a way to slow down your dreams, to slow down your process, to get you worrying so you can clear rather than focusing on and energizing that which makes you feel alive. And so, for those of you suffering with anxiety, this isn't to minimize it, it's not to make light of it or to joke about it. It's to say, like, I get it, right? When I went through menopause a couple of years ago, I started having anxiety and panic attacks. And it was relatively new to me for it to be frequent and all of the time. And it freaked me out. I went, oh my God, this feels awful. And so when our hormones shift, what happens is we're opening our energy field up to receiving thousands of units more of awareness all at once, which can feel really overwhelming. We don't have the tools or the resources. We might not know what's happening. So we tend to shut down. And in the shutdown is when the nervous system gets out of whack, when the hormones get out of whack, when our organs start to shut down a little bit. And then we adrenaline pump, which creates anxiety, it creates chronic fatigue, right? It creates not being in alignment with your truth. And so today I wanted to talk about getting clear on your truth, because your truth should feel exciting, should feel light, should feel expansive. It's all the stuff afterwards that creates that doubt, that fear, that worry, the panic, the anxiety. And we're not meant to live in an anxious state. And yet, right, the pharmaceutical companies, sometimes doctors, they're just programmed. They're not wrong. It's not wrong to take medicine for anxiety. It is not wrong. It's just a way to help you navigate a hard time in your life. But you don't have to live that way for the rest of your life. It's just information that you're increasing your awareness, that you're raising your vibration. So when we raise our vibration, when we become lighter, right, all of a sudden we become more open to receiving more information all at once. And if we're not prepared for that, it can feel quite overwhelming to the system. And so If you have been feeling closed down, if you have been dealing with some health issues and you need to go to the doctor, by all means go to the doctor, but also have sort of a heart to heart with yourself in the mirror or in your bedroom, right? By yourself and ask, right? Like, okay, what am I avoiding? What am I ignoring? What is my truth? And if your truth goes down the rabbit hole of, I'm anxious, I have depression, I don't feel good, right? Those might be true. But then you want to go deeper and go, okay, what's the truth underneath that? Wow, I'm working in a job I hate, or I'm, feeling tired, or I'm realizing that I'm not going after my dreams, or I feel stuck in a relationship, or I feel stuck in life. All of those things aren't bad things because life is always working out for us. It's supposed to. It's our perspective that needs a little bit of a shift. And so if you are going through a bout of depression, if you're feeling anxious, remember, we're in Scorpio season. And Scorpio season is all about transformation, right? It's all about letting go of that which doesn't serve you and opening up to the door of welcoming in that which does serve you. And you're not wrong, right? You're not bad. You're not, like you're not cursed, right? The universe is trying to gift you information so that you can align with your truth. And so when shit hits the fan, it's an invitation to shift your perspective, to take an inventory on your life and see what's serving you, right? And I will tell all of you right now, you're being called to step up, to aligning with your truth, to say yes to those choices that may seem insane or irrational or illogical to others. But if it opens your heart, if it excites you, if it feels alive and good, then that is a giant yes, right? You shouldn't have to force a maybe. A maybe is a no, right? If you're trying to talk yourself into doing something. So I'll give you an example. I was looking at hiring someone, and initially it was a giant yes. Totally irrational, totally illogical, felt really light, felt totally aligned, felt out of my budget. I was like, yes, this is the right energy. This is what I've been asking for. And then a couple weeks went by and I was like, energy shifted. And instead of trying to force it to happen, or reconnect, it was like, it's changed. Now I'm going to allow the universe to show me that the energy is changing. And so, for all of you out there looking at where you are in your life, right? There's a few questions, and I've done this before, and I can't take credit for these questions. I can take credit for a couple of them, but not most of them, right? Some of these questions come from a podcast that I was listening to with Lewis Howes and Robin Sharma, two humans that I've had the pleasure of meeting, really cool, amazing beings. And so the questions are 5 questions that I like to journal, right? In the last month, I've gotten away from it. I've had to move twice, which is an irrational, illogical choice that I made, but it was the best choice. And in the process, it got really hard, right? I wanted to give up. I wanted to go, oh, this is an insane choice. Maybe I shouldn't make this choice. But I knew in my heart, I knew in my gut, I knew in every bone in my body, it was creating a greater future, right? And so I kept going, but believe me, I was tested. And so when you make a choice that is the right choice, that is the expansive choice, that is the logical choice, you will get tested. right? It will feel like, oh, maybe I'm making the wrong choice. No, you're making the right choice. You're being tested to clear out the old, to get rid of old habits or patterns, to invite you into a new energy of being, right? And so when you make these choices, you want to really pay attention, right? Is this light, right? Am I forcing it? So, what are the 5 questions, right? So, the 5 questions that I was regularly journaling on in the last 40 days in 2 moves, moving 3 houses, 2 moves, totally crazy. Um, these are the 5 questions that actually help navigate. And when I was doing them every day, shifted a ton of energy in my life. So, what are the questions? The first one is, what am I grateful for? Right? The second one is, what are my wins? Right? And you can just every day, it'll set the tone for your day. Right? So if you're waking up and you're anxious, look at, are you grabbing your phone right away? Are you looking at your bank account right away when you're stressed financially? Are you, worried about your relationship and you're constantly looking at the texts, right? What are the actions that you're taking that are producing the anxiety? Because you're not just anxious, you're actually reinforcing the anxiety, right? So I'm somebody who, when I get in the car, even though I live in a small town, I get snowed pretty much a foot last night and this morning, and woke up to a ton of snow, woke up to, sheets of ice everywhere, driving very slowly. And I'm someone who gets in the habit, and I'm trying to get out of the habit of getting in the car and immediately getting stressed out or yelling at other people on the road. And it's like, I live in a small town. It doesn't serve me. And so now I've been in the habit of when I get in the car, okay, what can I be grateful for? And it changes my mood. So it's shifting the perspective, right? So we'll go back to the 5 questions. So it's, what am I grateful for? What are my wins? What am I letting go of, or what do I want to let go of, right? So I can be like, wow, I'm letting go of getting in the habit of being stressed out while I'm driving, or being an angry. I'm not an angry driver, but I definitely talk smack to drivers, and it's like, well, I don't need to do that. Why don't I just enjoy the ride, right? Enjoy the scenery, enjoy what life is bringing me. And so every day, right, this is about getting clear on your truth. Are your actions that you're taking every day, are they making you feel good? And if they're not, it's time to shift your perspective and change your actions, right? So if you're waking up and you're grabbing your phone right away, stop grabbing your phone and meditate. One of my favorite things to do is right out of bed, not even getting out of bed, is waking up and putting my hands, right, interlocking my fingers, putting my hands on the back of my occiput, which is that bump on the back of your head. You put it there. You can lay down on your pillow and you just kind of close your eyes or keep your eyes open, and you can yawn a few times, like so. Yawning, right? Doing that, what it will do is it will, and you hold this for 2 minutes, and you do a few yawns, which release energy out of your vagus nerve, which helps calm your nervous system down, right? An action that supports where you want to be and how you want to be feeling. And it can lower the amount of cortisol in your levels, right, by 65%, just 2 minutes. I love that. We're getting comments like I'm making myself, right? Great questions for setting intentions. So every time that you don't feel good, you want to look at, well, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? What actions are you taking that are continuing that not positive feeling in your energy, right? And then you take the positive and you go, okay, what can I do to feel better? What can I do to energize my truth? What can I do to get in alignment, right? Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Doesn't matter like what anyone else feels. It matters where you are, right? And so 5 questions. We're going back to it because we keep going on tangents. It's my brain. Is, what am I grateful for? What are my wins? What am I letting go of? Or what do I want to let go of? What do I want to focus on, energize, right? So some of you, just out of habit, are focusing on what isn't working in your life. And when you focus on what isn't working in your life, you get more of what isn't working in your life. When you focus on what you need to change, you get more of what you need to change. When you focus on what you need to clear or let go of, you get more of what you need to clear and let go of. But when you start focusing on what brings you more energy, what brings you clarity, when you focus on your dreams, when you focus on actions that make you feel good, right? You get more of that in your world, right? More of that in your world. So that's the moment, right? And so if you are in a place of feeling out of alignment, it's not wrong, it's not bad, it's an invitation of where do you need to get clear with yourself. And I will tell you, I've been talking to a ton of clients, the choices that they make are irrational. They might seem crazy to other people, but it's their truth and their alignment. And when we kind of cut the noise out of how other people feel, what other people think, how they're judging, right? And so getting in alignment with your truth really is about quieting yourself and paying attention to how things make you feel. And I will tell you that most of the life choices that set your life up for a phenomenal life, a fantastic life, a life that makes you feel on top of the world, right? Setting yourself up for those choices, right? It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of discipline to cut out the noise, to cut out other people's opinions, and to focus on, is this, might feel irrational, might feel crazy, might not make sense to anyone else, but when you think of it, it's like, and then the work after paying attention to the expansion of that choice is to let go of and diminish and quiet the noise of the fear of failure, to quiet the noise of the fear of being judged, to quiet the noise of other people in your world, right? And really go for the bigger perspective, because your truth, right, might not make sense to anyone else, but if it makes sense to you, that's your invitation to really go for it. So we're going to continue talking about this topic. We're going to take a short commercial break, so stay tuned, and we'll come back for more with getting clear on your truth and how to do
Home Times TV.
Do you trust you? Do you trust your body? What if the key to unlocking the weight, pain, suffering, fear, anxiety, addictions, traumas, and sorrows was already inside of you? Learn to love the skin you are in so you can create the body, business, and life you love. Everyone always says you can't explain what Catherine does, you just have to experience it. From Hollywood actors to New York Times best-selling authors to some of the world's wealthiest and most successful, no two experiences are the same. For private sessions, online courses, live events, and the latest book Jack Canfield calls Game Changer and should be required reading for everyone, go to katherinemcintosh.com. KatherineMcintosh.com.
Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Om Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Om Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Om Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Om Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Om Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
All right, my magical friends, so we are back and we are talking about, right, getting clear on your truth. And what's true for you may not be true for anybody else, but nobody knows more about you, nobody knows more about your body than you do. And a lot of times we might go to psychics or coaches or energy healers or doctors or friends or family to kind of get their opinion. And sometimes, yes, we need that, right? But usually when our bodies are breaking down is because we're not listening to what's true for us. When we're taking in too many other people's opinions, it waters down our ability to be clear on what's true. And that's why those 5 questions, right? And we'll go over them one more time. Those 5 questions, we didn't get to number 5, will help you get clear on your truth. So the 5 questions are: what am I grateful for? What are my wins? What am I letting go of? What do I want to focus on, energize? And then the 5th one is kind of my favorite, is what would be my ideal day? And every day you might have a different response. And so last winter, I was with my closest friend, and amazing human, just a ball of joy. Every time we're around each other, we're just like, oh, we feel so much better, right? And a couple years ago, right, we happened to also work in the same location. We both live in Aspen. We're both energy healers. She's an acupuncturist. I'm, intuitive consultant. And we were like, hey, what would be our ideal day in Aspen? And we both were like, okay, we want to wake up, we want to go to yoga, and then we're going to go skiing, and then we want to go out, dancing to our favorite DJ, our favorite musician. And last winter, we met for yoga, and then we were getting ready to go on the mountain. And as we're getting ready to put our ski clothes on, she looked at me and she's like, Heather, we are living our ideal day. And I was like, oh my God, like we had been dreaming about this moment, and all of a sudden it happened. And so one of the coolest ways to get to know what your truth is to discover what your ideal day would be like. And so I used to have these giant dreams of, I want to have this in my life, and this in my life, and this in my life. And recently I looked around, I was like, wow, I have it. And I have it kind of living vicariously through my clients. So what I mean by that is my clients will fly me places, and then I get to experience like the luxury and the private chef and all of that. And I went, wow, do I want to create that? And I went, wow, I actually really like some of the things that are currently in my life that are simple, right? Because I don't have huge overhead. I have a good size overhead, but I don't have a huge overhead like some of my clients. I'm like, I don't know that I want a huge overhead, right? And so getting clear on your truth, writing down your ideal day will really help you get clear on what you want to create in your life, right? And all that matters is when you wake up in the mornings, are you feeling satisfied with your choices? Are you jealous? Are you having envy? Do you wish your life was different? If so, what can you change? So I put together a few things that you can kind of explore in your own world to go, okay, how do I get clear on what my truth is, right? How do I discover what my truth is? And the first one is to start to quiet the outside voices. And what I mean by that is, are you somebody that's constantly looking for other people's opinions? Are you looking for validation? Are you looking for people to pat you on the back and be like, you're making good choices? Nobody's going to do that, especially if your choices feel irrational or illogical to other people. They're going to want to keep you safe, right? They're going to want to talk you out of it. They're going to want to like keep you from getting hurt. But all that means is that they might not be going after their dreams, because somebody who's going after their dreams is never going to talk you out of going after yours. It's the people that aren't going after their dreams that might talk you out of it. So what you want to do is you want to quiet the outside voices, right? Maybe a meditation practice, maybe getting out in nature, right? Maybe taking some time to yourself, right? Whatever that is, maybe doing some yoga, whatever it is for you, right? I like doing somatic exercises. I like being out in nature. I like going to a specific yoga class with my favorite yoga teacher. And so you want to find things that help you get in alignment and quiet those outside voices, quiet the need for validation. Another thing you want to take a look at is when kind of crap hits the fan, right? When your life feels in disarray or in a little bit of chaos, when you get in a fight, when somebody pisses you off, you want to look at, are you taking that experience and are you calling and telling everybody? If you get in a fight with your partner, right, your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your spouse, are you taking that intimate experience and are you gabbing it out to the world, right? I kind of learned the hard way that anything that happens in my relationship, it's actually better to keep it quiet, right? Not right, not wrong. Why? Because preserving the intimacy, preserving the connection of my relationship is more important than talking crap. And so you want to look at when, life happens, when things don't go your way, are you taking the thing that isn't going your way and are you kind of talking about it to everyone in your life? Well, guess what? That's going to create more chaos, more disarray, more disconnect, more kind of upside down crap for you. And so you kind of want to look at, okay, how do you open your energy, right? And also preserve. And if you can sit in stillness when things don't go your way, if you don't gab it out to other people, if you go back to those 5 questions, you go, okay, what am I grateful for? What are my wins? What do I want to focus on and energize? That can sort of dissipate the need to energize the things that aren't going well in your life. Really important. And those are 2 really monumental ways to kind of quiet the external voices, right? The second thing you want to do is think of things that when you're doing them, right, you forget to eat, you forget to check the time, you maybe forget your phone, you're kind of so engrossed in the moment that nothing else matters. That's a great way to get clear on what your truth is. So some people, right, could play video games all day long, right? Some people could watch sports all day long. Some people could be, climbing up mountains or backpacking for weeks, right? Some people could be traveling. When you're doing it, you have this sense of satisfaction, you have this sense of aliveness, you have this sense of feeling like you're free. That's a clue of something that is in alignment with your truth. So like, I love adventure. So I have friends who hate being on planes, right? Hate being on planes. I happen to love being on planes. So like I flew somewhere the other day for a night and someone's like, you went for just one night? I was like, yeah, it was amazing. I love travel. It makes me feel alive. I feel like I have this like reconnection to myself in a new way. I sometimes on the planes will watch movies that make me cry because I'm releasing, and it sounds crazy, but I love it. Now, someone else might not even come close to that. They'd rather get in a car and drive to go somewhere, right? Or they'd rather not travel. And so you just want to look at what makes you come alive. What are some of the things that when you do them, kind of time stands still, right? You forget to eat, you forget to, some people it's painting, some people it's music, right? Some people it's science, some people it's AI, some people it's business and entrepreneurship. But when you're doing them, some people it's marketing or photography. Like you're so engrossed in the moment that you feel so connected and present. That's a clue to give you sort of a sense of things that are your truth, right? And not right, not wrong. This is about you getting to know you in a way that helps open the door to your future, that helps open the door to possibilities, that helps open the door to dreaming, right? Next one, really good, right? Is focusing on daily actions that make you feel good, right? Focusing on daily actions that make you feel good. So again, are you someone who's prone to anxiety? You're going to bed anxious. That means you're probably waking up anxious. And my guess is if you're anxious, you're checking your phone, you're looking at your bank account, you're scrolling Instagram on your ex's pages, you're looking at someone who maybe is making your life more difficult, right? You're putting all your energy into these places and spaces that energize those feelings you're trying to avoid. And so what you want to do is go, okay, that's not working. How do I energize the feelings that I want more of, right? Meditation, yoga, exercise, quiet time, journaling, right? Dreaming, painting, music, dancing, things that get you involved. And as always, so this is what we do, number 3. This is number 4, is get your body moving in some way, shape, or form. And so if you are dealing with an injury, if your movement feels a little limited, right, you want to find ways you can get on the floor. You can roll around, you can stretch, right? You can walk in nature. If you're in a wheelchair, you can get outside. And like, you want to not use what's going on in your life as an excuse to not move your body somehow. Maybe you can move your arms, maybe you can move your neck, but any sort of physical movement that engages your body, right, is a way to release stuck and stale energy out of the body. Again, we're in Scorpio season, a time of transformation, and now more than ever, right? I'm in Aspen in Colorado, and we already have winter, right? There's a ton of snow out my window, right? and so maybe movement's limited, but you could always find ways to move your body, to engage in movement. Movement will get rid of stale and stuck energy, right? And it will make space for what's next, right? So I've talked about this a lot, but every 24 hours, 864 million cells leave your body, while simultaneously 864 million new cells come into your body. And so what that means is if you're moving, you're helping your body physically release those 864 million cells that died in a 24-hour period, and you're making space for those new cells to take on new energy. So if you're somebody who's constantly reminding yourself you're depressed, you're anxious, you're broke, you're miserable, you're going to live alone for the rest of your life, you're going to, your health is compromised, and you you have 864 million cells that leave, and then you have 864 million new cells, and you're like, well, I'm depressed, I'm anxious. Those new cells that just came into your body in a 24-hour period are going to take on the old energy. I don't think you want that, because the truth is our body has this incredible capacity to literally take on, like to re-energize completely, to sort of shed its skin like a snake, right? Transformation, the snake is all about transformation, right? And so transformation is about shedding the old and welcoming in the new. And snakes are the only animal on the planet that entirely shed its skin, right? Anywhere from 7 to 12 times a year. That's a lot, or maybe it's 3 to 12 times a year. That's a lot of shedding, right? And in the shedding, guess what? Their senses increase, but some of their senses are compromised. So when a snake is shedding its skin, its vision gets blurry, right? It's I don't know if it has a sense of smell. It uses its tongue and its tongue and its mouth to sort of figure out its space in the world. Dolphins use the roof of their mouth to discover the distance that they are between themselves and another dolphin, or themselves and another object, right? And so we're constantly trying to figure out where we are in the world, but most of us are getting caught figuring out where we are in the world depending on somebody else's opinion, right? Depending on what success do we have, instead of looking at, well, what if it's, how do I feel? Am I satisfied? Am I happy? How do I feel alive? Do I feel energized? Am I kind of aligning with the things that are connected to my truth? And the way you discover what your truth is by these different, these different things. You want to quiet the noise. You want to get rid of needing validation from others. You want to pay attention to how things make you feel. You want to see, what would be your ideal day, right? You want to sort of look at what could you do all day long and forget to eat, right? And be really engaged. Forget to look at your watch. Forget to look at your phone, right? And then move your body, right? Moving your body is so important. And then the last one that I'll say, and I talk about this a lot, is finding ways to calm your nervous system. And so you literally can take your hands, interlock them, place them on your occiput behind your head, right? And hang out. And you can do this sitting, you can do this laying down, you can do this standing. I sometimes will pace around or walk around my house with my hands here for 2 minutes, and it lowers your cortisol in your body by 65%. And so, my friends, nobody knows more about your truth than you. And I want to invite you now more than ever. It's going to be so important to start to look at your life choices and go, you know what? It doesn't have to make sense to anyone. Most of the people I've been working with, it's like choices they make don't make any sense to anyone else, right? And some people are judging them and making them wrong and telling them I shouldn't be doing this, but they know in their core they're making the right choice. And when you're making the right choice, a lot of people might disagree, right? A lot of people might start to drag you down. A lot of people might start to convince you that you're wrong. They might try and attack you, right? They might try and get upset with you, right? When you're making a choice that is right for you, right? Sometimes chaos will appear and people will leave your life, or things will happen that will test you. And usually that's because it's a sign that you're making the right choice for you. Right? And so if you make a choice that feels really good, don't be surprised if it's followed up by a moment of challenge, right? A challenging situation, because that is an invitation for you to get even clearer, for you to step even more into your truth. And so don't get discouraged if you are going through a hard time. Start to shift your perspective, start to rewire and go, okay, life is happening for me, not life happening to me. And so shift your perspective, get out of the victim mentality. You are not a victim. In fact, you are far more powerful, far more aware, and far more awake than you give yourself credit. And so if no one's told you, no matter where you are in this journey, you're doing a really good job at life. And if you're somewhere where you've been sort of dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety, dealing with toxic people or toxic relationships, I want to invite you to shift your perspective and go, okay, where can I control this? What actions can I take to shift my perspective? And how do I get myself out of this so that I can get more in alignment with my truth? Because my friends, you hold the key to your life. You are not wrong, right? You are not a victim. You are a magnificent, magical being. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's probably because you're raising your vibration. When we raise our vibration, we open ourselves up to more information, more energy. It can feel overwhelming at first, but the trick is, instead of closing down and collapsing, expand your energy out, right? Like nothing gets stuck in the universe, right? Or the galaxy. Things just move through, and you are that big energetically. You are that bright and that bold. And so start to wake up, start to open up your energy, and start to do more things that make you come alive. So I want to thank you for joining me today during this Scorpio season, time of transformation. It's my personal favorite time of the year, and I'm wishing you all well. Shift that perspective, my friends, one day at a time, and you're in charge. So start to get clear on your truth, align with what's true for you, and don't let anyone talk you out of your truth. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for joining. If this episode inspired you, please feel free to share it, and can't wait to connect. Bye for now.
Catherine is not a medical practitioner nor a licensed therapist. She has strong opinions and will express them, and truly believes that you are your best advocate for any and every area of your life. If you need medical advice, please consult your physician.